Welcome, wanderers of the dark and seekers of the unknown, to Whispers on the Asphalt, your go-to channel for spine-tingling tales and haunted histories. Here, we explore the eerie corners of the world where shadows stretch longer than they should and the hum of tires on pavement is often accompanied by whispers from beyond. Today, we embark on a chilling journey along some of the most haunted highways in the Pacific Northwest, a region renowned for its breathtaking landscapes, dense forests, and a rich tapestry of folklore that blurs the line between myth and reality. The Pacific Northwest, with its mist-shrouded mountains, winding coastal roads, and endless stretches of wilderness, has long been a breeding ground for ghostly legends and unexplained phenomena. These highways, carved through rugged terrain and steeped in history, are more than mere conduits for travel. They are corridors of mystery, where the past lingers like fog over a moonlit lake. From spectral hitchhikers to phantom vehicles, from cursed landmarks to blood-soaked stretches of asphalt, these roads hold secrets that defy explanation and challenge the boundaries of belief. In this two-part series, we will peel back the layers of the supernatural, revealing the haunting stories behind the region's most infamous routes. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your courage tested as we delve into the unknown. So buckle up, keep your headlights on, and join us as we navigate the shadowy highways of the Pacific Northwest. Let the journey begin. The sinister allure of America's most haunted abandoned places. There is something undeniably magnetic about abandoned places. The crumbling walls, the overgrown paths, and the eerie silence that blankets these forgotten spaces evoke a sense of mystery and dread that has captivated humanity for centuries. These relics of the past stand frozen in time, their decay whispering secrets of lives once lived within their walls. But what happens when those whispers turn into screams? When shadows move where no light should fall, and cold drafts sweep through rooms with no open windows? Welcome to the world of America's most haunted abandoned places, a realm where history meets horror, and the line between fact and fiction blurs into oblivion. Abandoned places are more than just remnants of bygone eras. They are monuments to human ambition, tragedy, and sometimes malevolence. From asylums that house society's forgotten souls to theaters that once echoed with laughter but now resonate with despair, these locations carry the weight of untold stories. They are not merely empty structures. They are vessels of memory, grief, and unresolved energy. And it is this lingering essence that draws us in, beckoning us to explore the dark corridors of our collective imagination. In this episode, we embark on a chilling journey across the United States to uncover the most haunted abandoned places that have become legends in their own right. Each location holds its own macabre history, steeped in tragedy, violence, or inexplicable phenomena. We'll delve into the haunted halls of derelict hospitals where patients suffered unspeakable fates, wander through ghost-ridden prisons where inmates endured unimaginable torment, and step inside decaying mansions where families met grim ends. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from those brave enough, or foolish enough, to venture into these spectral sanctuaries, as well as examine documented evidence collected by paranormal investigators who dare to confront the unknown. But why do we feel such an irresistible pull toward these forsaken sites? Perhaps it's the thrill of stepping into the unknown, the adrenaline rush of facing our deepest fears head-on. Or maybe it's the hope, however faint, that we might catch a glimpse of something beyond the veil, proof that life does not end with death. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: there is no shortage of stories waiting to be unearthed in these desolate corners of America. So, dear reader, prepare yourself for a descent into darkness. Gather your courage, steady your nerves, and keep your flashlight close, for the spirits that haunt these ruins are restless, and they may not take kindly to intruders. Together, we will peel back the layers of time and terror to reveal the chilling truths hidden within America's most haunted abandoned places. Let the exploration begin. Eastern State Penitentiary, a bastion of suffering nestled in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, stands Eastern State Penitentiary, a foreboding fortress whose towering stone walls have long been synonymous with despair and dread. Constructed in 1829, this Gothic monolith was once heralded as a revolutionary institution, pioneering the concept of solitary confinement as a means of rehabilitation. However, What began as an experiment in reform quickly devolved into a living nightmare for the thousands of inmates who called it home. Today, the penitentiary lies in ruins, its crumbling cell blocks and rusted iron bars serving as a haunting reminder of the suffering endured within its confines, and the restless spirits said to linger still. Eastern State Penitentiary was designed to isolate prisoners completely, cutting them off from all human contact in the hopes that solitude would inspire penitence. Inmates were confined to tiny cells for 23 hours a day, allowed only brief periods of exercise in individual walled yards. The silence was absolute. Even guards wore socks over their shoes to muffle sound. While the architects envisioned redemption, the reality was far darker. Many inmates succumbed to madness under the crushing weight of isolation, driven to self-harm or suicide by the relentless monotony and suffocating loneliness. Others whispered of shadowy figures pacing the corridors at night, though no one could explain how they appeared and disappeared without a trace point. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in cell block 12, where prisoner Charles Red Williams reportedly hanged himself after claiming he was being tormented by a demonic entity. According to legend, Williams had been subjected to particularly brutal treatment by the guards, leaving him physically and mentally broken. In his final days, he raved about a tall, gaunt figure with glowing red eyes that watched him from the shadows, taunting him with promises of eternal damnation. On the night of his death, several guards swore they heard guttural growls emanating from his cell, followed by a blood-curdling scream. When they entered to investigate, they found William's lifeless body swaying gently from a makeshift noose, his face contorted in terror. Since then, visitors to cell block 12 have reported feeling an oppressive heaviness in the air, accompanied by the sensation of unseen hands gripping their shoulders or tugging at their clothing. Another area steeped in supernatural lore is Death Row, located deep within the bowels of the prison. This grim section housed the most dangerous offenders and served as the site of numerous executions, both official and clandestine. Guards stationed here often spoke of hearing disembodied voices pleading for mercy or screaming in agony, long after the last prisoner had been removed. Paranormal investigators who have braved the darkness of Death Row describe capturing chilling EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, recordings, including phrases like "help me" and "I didn't do it." Some claim to have seen apparitions of former inmates wandering aimlessly, their chains rattling softly against the cold stone floors. Perhaps the most pervasive presence within Eastern State Penitentiary belongs to Al Capone, the notorious gangster who spent 8 months incarcerated there in 1929. Though Capone enjoyed relative comfort compared to other inmates, his cell was furnished with fine rugs, oil paintings, and a radio. He claimed to be haunted by the ghost of James Clark, a rival mobster murdered during the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Capone described hearing footsteps outside his door late at night, followed by a low, menacing voice accusing him of betrayal. Modern-day visitors recount similar experiences, reporting strange noises and fleeting shadows near Capone's old cell, which remains eerily intact despite the surrounding decay. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary operates as a museum, offering guided tours and seasonal haunted attractions. Yet, for many, the true draw lies in its reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity. Overnight investigations allow thrill-seekers to explore the penitentiary's darkest corners armed with EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and unshakable resolve. Participants frequently report encountering inexplicable phenomena, flickering lights, sudden drops in temperature, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. One group captured footage of a translucent figure darting across a hallway, while another swore they saw a woman in Victorian-era clothing standing motionless at the end of a corridor before vanishing into thin air. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Eastern State Penitentiary continues to attract curious travelers eager to test their courage against the unknown. Its blend of historical significance and spectral infamy makes it a magnet for ghost hunters, urban explorers, and anyone fascinated by the intersection of human suffering and the supernatural. As we continue our exploration of America's most haunted abandoned places, few locations rival the sheer magnitude of tragedy and terror contained within the crumbling walls of this once proud institution. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, echoes of despair perched atop a hill in Louisville, Kentucky, Waverly Hills Sanatorium looms like a specter from another time, a place where hope went to die. Built in 1910, the sprawling facility was originally designed to combat the tuberculosis epidemic that ravaged the United States in the early 20th century. At its peak, Waverly treated hundreds of patients annually, many of whom arrived seeking refuge from the disease's merciless grip. What awaited them, however, was anything but salvation. Behind its imposing facade lay a labyrinth of despair, where experimental treatments, overcrowded wards, and unsanitary conditions turned recovery into a distant dream. For decades, the sanatorium operated as a house of horrors, its halls echoing with the cries of the sick and dying. Now abandoned, it stands as one of America's most haunted locations, a monument to the suffering of those who never left. The horrors of Waverly Hills began almost immediately after its opening. Tuberculosis, or consumption, as it was commonly known, was poorly understood at the time, leading to a litany of ineffective and often barbaric treatments. Patients underwent procedures such as pneumothorax, where doctors intentionally collapsed their lungs to starve the infection of oxygen, and thoracoplasty, which involved removing ribs to reduce pressure on diseased organs. Many endured excruciating pain without anesthesia, their screams muffled by thick walls and locked doors. Those who survived the surgeries faced an equally grim fate: confinement in stifling wards, isolated from loved ones and deprived of sunlight. It's estimated that over 63,000 people died within Waverly's walls during its operation, their bodies disposed of via a secret tunnel known as the Death Chute, a grim passageway used to transport corpses out of sight of other patients. Among the countless tragic stories tied to Waverly Hills, none is more chilling than that of Mary, a young nurse who worked tirelessly to care for the afflicted. According to legend, Mary fell victim to tuberculosis herself, her health deteriorating rapidly despite her colleagues' best efforts. In her final days, she became increasingly erratic, claiming to see shadowy figures lurking in the corners of her room and hearing whispers urging her to join them. On the night of her death, witnesses reported seeing a pale light emanating from her quarters, followed by a blood-curdling scream. When staff members rushed to investigate, they found Mary lying motionless on her bed, her eyes wide with terror. To this day, visitors claim to encounter her spirit roaming the upper floors, her translucent form clad in a tattered nurse's uniform. Some describe hearing soft footsteps padding along the corridors, accompanied by the faint jingle of keys, a tribute to her dedication even in death. Adding to the sanatorium's haunted reputation is the infamous Room 502, a space steeped in tragedy and speculation. During the 1920s, 2 nurses working in this room met untimely ends under mysterious circumstances. The first reportedly contracted tuberculosis and took her own life by leaping from a window, while the second allegedly hanged herself after discovering she was pregnant out of wedlock. Today, Room 502 is considered ground zero for paranormal activity at Waverly Hills. Guests participating in overnight investigations described feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness upon entering, as though the air itself is heavy with grief. Objects move inexplicably, doors slam shut on their own, and disembodied voices whisper warnings to leave. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of what appears to be a shadowy figure crouching in the corner of the room, a stark reminder of the horrors that unfolded there. Paranormal phenomena extend far beyond Room 502, permeating every inch of the decaying structure. The 4th-floor hallway, once reserved for terminally ill patients, is particularly notorious. Visitors recount hearing the sound of children laughing and playing, though no youngsters were ever admitted to this section of the building. Others describe seeing small, ghostly figures darting around corners before vanishing into thin air. These apparitions are believed to belong to the youngest victims of tuberculosis, whose spirits remained trapped in the place where they drew their final breaths. Similarly, the basement, home to the Death Chute and makeshift morgue, is a focal point for supernatural encounters. Employees tasked with cleaning the area report feeling icy fingers brushing against their skin, while others swear they've seen shadowy forms dragging invisible loads down the chute. Modern-day explorers flock to Waverly Hills in droves, lured by its macabre history and tales of unrelenting hauntings. The current owners have embraced its haunted legacy, transforming the property into a tourist attraction complete with guided tours, haunted houses, and overnight ghost hunts. Yet, for all its commercialization, the essence of Waverly Hills remains unchanged, a place where the boundary between life and death blurs, and the echoes of despair refuse to fade. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or the thrill of the supernatural, Waverly Hills offers an unforgettable experience where the past lingers just out of reach, waiting to pull you into its embrace. The Winchester Mystery House, a labyrinth of grief and ghosts tucked away in the heart of San Jose, California. The Winchester Mystery House stands as a monument to obsession, fear, and the supernatural. Built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearms magnate William Wiltshire Winchester, this sprawling Victorian mansion defies logic and convention, its labyrinthine design concealing secrets that have baffled historians and ghost hunters alike. With over 160 rooms, staircases that lead nowhere, and doors that open onto blank walls, the house is a physical manifestation of Sarah's tormented psyche, a desperate attempt to appease the spirits she believed haunted her family. Today, it remains one of America's most enigmatic and haunted abandoned places, drawing visitors eager to unravel its mysteries and confront the restless entities said to dwell within its walls. Sarah Winchester inherited an immense fortune following the deaths of her husband and daughter, both of whom passed away under tragic circumstances. Consumed by grief and guilt, believing her family's wealth stemmed from the bloodshed caused by Winchester rifles, she sought solace in spiritualism, a popular movement during the late 19th century. According to legend, a Boston medium delivered a chilling prophecy. The spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles demanded retribution, and unless Sarah built them a home, she would meet the same fate as her loved ones. Thus began her lifelong quest to construct a sanctuary for the dead, a project that spanned 38 years and cost millions of dollars. The result is a house unlike any other. Its chaotic architecture reflects Sarah's frantic efforts to confuse and trap vengeful spirits. Hallways twist unpredictably, windows are installed in floors, and chimneys terminate uselessly inside walls. Entire rooms were sealed off mid-construction, their purposes lost to time. Some believe these bizarre features were designed to disorient malevolent entities, while others argue they represent Sarah's descent into madness. Regardless, the house exudes an aura of unease, its endless corridors and hidden alcoves creating an atmosphere ripe for supernatural encounters. Numerous reports of paranormal activity have emerged from the Winchester Mystery House over the years. One of the most persistent legends involves the ghost of a construction worker who allegedly fell to his death during the building process. Known as Red Stockings, due to his distinctive attire, his spirit is said to roam the grounds, often appearing near scaffolding or unfinished areas. Visitors describe seeing a man in dusty work clothes walking purposefully through walls or disappearing into thin air. Others claim to hear the rhythmic tapping of tools echoing through empty hallways, though no source can be found. Another prominent figure in the house's haunted lore is Sarah Winchester herself. Though she passed away in 1922, many believe her spirit lingers, overseeing the labyrinth she created. Guests touring the mansion often report feeling an inexplicable chill in certain rooms, accompanied by the scent of lavender, a fragrance Sarah reportedly favored. Some claim to see her translucent form gliding silently through the halls, her expression unreadable yet sorrowful. Others recount hearing soft footsteps ascending the grand staircase late at night, only to find no one there when they investigate. The seance room, located deep within the house, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Here, Sarah allegedly conducted nightly rituals to communicate with the spirits, using a Ouija board to guide her architectural decisions. Modern-day visitors describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they enter, as if unseen eyes are watching their every move. Disembodied voices whisper cryptic messages, and objects move seemingly of their own accord. One particularly chilling account comes from a tour guide who swore she saw the table levitate briefly before crashing back to the floor, scattering candles and papers in all directions. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Winchester Mystery House has become a major tourist attraction. Guided tours offer glimpses into its eccentric design and tragic history, while nighttime investigations cater to those seeking direct encounters with the supernatural. Paranormal researchers equipped with EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and audio recorders have documented compelling evidence of activity, including sharp spikes in electromagnetic fields and EVP recordings capturing phrases like, "Leave me alone," and "You shouldn't be here." For those brave enough to step inside, the Winchester Mystery House offers an unparalleled experience where the boundaries between past and present blur. Its intricate web of corridors and chambers serves as both a tribute to Sarah's genius and a testament to her torment, inviting visitors to confront the ghosts of her making, and perhaps their own fears as well. Whether you're drawn by its architectural oddities or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its haunted history, the house promises an unforgettable journey into the unknown. The Villisca Axe Murder House, a nightmare frozen in time nestled in the quiet town of Villisca, Iowa. The Axe Murder House stands as a grim relic of one of America's most infamous unsolved crimes. On the night of June 10, 1912, a horrific massacre unfolded within its walls, leaving 8 innocent lives extinguished in a frenzy of violence that remains shrouded in mystery. The victims, 6 members of the Moore family and 2 visiting friends, were brutally murdered as they slept, their attacker wielding an axe with chilling precision. Despite extensive investigations and numerous suspects, the case was never solved, casting a long shadow over the small community. Today, the house stands abandoned, its weathered exterior and silent rooms preserving the terror of that fateful night, while whispers of the supernatural suggest the spirits of the slain refused to rest. The crime scene revealed a level of brutality that shocked even seasoned investigators. Josiah Moore, his wife Sarah, and their 4 children, ages 5 to 12, were found bludgeoned to death in their beds. 2 teenage girls, Lena Stillinger and Ina Stillinger, who had been staying with the family, also perished in the attack. The killer showed no mercy, striking each victim multiple times before covering their bodies with bedclothes, as if attempting to conceal the carnage. Strangely, the perpetrator avoided waking the household dog, suggesting familiarity with the layout of the home. Adding to the mystery was the discovery of a bloody handprint on a wall and a piece of bacon wrapped in newspaper near the kitchen sink, evidence that raised more questions than answers. Over the decades, the Villisca Axe Murder House gained notoriety not only for its grisly past but also for the paranormal phenomena reported by those brave enough to venture inside. Visitors describe an overwhelming sense of dread upon crossing the threshold, as though the air itself is charged with malevolent energy. Many report hearing faint footsteps echoing through the empty rooms, accompanied by the unmistakable sound of an axe striking wood. Some claim to see shadowy figures moving in the periphery of their vision, only to vanish when approached. Others recount feeling icy drafts sweeping through the house, even on warm summer nights, and catching glimpses of ghostly faces peering from windows or mirrors. One of the most chilling accounts comes from paranormal investigators who conducted an overnight stay in the house. Using advanced equipment, they captured audio recordings of disembodied voices whispering phrases like, "Get out," and "Don't look." Thermal imaging cameras revealed cold spots concentrated in specific areas, particularly near the bedrooms where the murders occurred. Perhaps the most disturbing moment came when a team member swore he felt something brush against his neck, a sensation so vivid he bolted from the room, only to discover fresh scratches on his skin moments later. Guests participating in guided tours of the house often share unsettling experiences as well. Several have reported seeing a young girl dressed in white standing at the top of the stairs, her expression mournful and hollow-eyed. Others describe hearing faint giggles coming from the children's room, followed by the sound of toys clattering to the floor. One visitor recounted waking up in the middle of the night during an overnight stay, convinced someone was standing at the foot of her bed. When she turned on the light, the room appeared empty, but the indentation on the mattress suggested otherwise. The house's current owner, Darwin Lynn, has embraced its haunted reputation, transforming it into a tourist attraction that offers both daytime tours and overnight stays. For those daring enough to spend the night, the experience is nothing short of harrowing. Participants are given access to the entire property, free to explore its darkest corners armed with flashlights and courage. Many emerge shaken, recounting encounters with unseen forces and inexplicable occurrences. One group captured footage of what appears to be a translucent figure crouching in the corner of a bedroom, a stark reminder of the horrors that transpired there over a century ago. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Villisca Axe Murder House continues to draw curious travelers from across the globe. Its blend of historical tragedy and spectral infamy makes it a magnet for ghost hunters, true crime enthusiasts, and anyone fascinated by the intersection of human violence and the supernatural. As we continue our exploration of America's most haunted abandoned places, few locations rival the sheer magnitude of terror and tragedy contained within the crumbling walls of this once ordinary home. For those willing to confront the darkness, the Villisca Axe Murder House offers an unforgettable journey into the heart of fear itself. Penhurst Asylum, a monument to madness and misery located in Spring City, Pennsylvania, Penhurst Asylum stands as a chilling testament to the failures of institutional care in America. Opened in 1908, this sprawling complex was originally established to house individuals with intellectual disabilities, epilepsy, and mental illnesses. However, beneath its facade of benevolence lay a harrowing reality marked by neglect, abuse, and systemic cruelty. Over the course of its 70-year operation, Penhurst became synonymous with inhumane treatment, earning comparisons to concentration camps and sparking widespread outrage that ultimately led to its closure in 1987. Today, the asylum lies in ruins, its crumbling buildings and overgrown grounds serving as a haunting reminder of the suffering endured by thousands of patients, and the restless spirits said to linger still. Penhurst's origins were rooted in good intentions, but its execution was anything but humane. Designed to accommodate 500 residents, the facility quickly became overcrowded, housing over 2,700 patients at its peak. Conditions deteriorated rapidly as funding shortages forced staff to cut corners, resulting in inadequate medical care, filthy living quarters, and rampant mistreatment. Patients were subjected to experimental therapies, including electroshock treatments and forced sterilizations, often without consent. Many were restrained in straitjackets or locked in cages, left to languish in squalor for weeks on end. The most vulnerable among them, children, were frequently abused by both peers and caretakers, their cries ignored amidst the chaos. One of the most infamous stories associated with Penhurst involves a young boy named Jimmy, who vanished without explanation in the 1940s. According to legend, Jimmy had been severely disabled and unable to speak, relying on gestures to communicate. He was last seen playing in a courtyard near the women's ward, clutching a tattered teddy bear. Days later, his disappearance prompted a frantic search, but no trace of him was ever found. Decades later, visitors to the abandoned asylum claimed to encounter his spirit, describing sightings of a small, shadowy figure wandering aimlessly through the halls. Others report hearing faint giggles echoing through empty corridors, accompanied by the sound of tiny footsteps pattering against the cracked tile floors. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted abandoned places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, sleep in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these establishments offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint strains of music in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted abandoned places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.